That's right, guys, it's time to put a ball joint on the other side, so I figured I'd make a quick video today. I know a lot of folks are having ball joint problems lately after a pretty rough winter in some places, and those potholes can be pretty nasty, so those ball joints do wear out and break pretty quickly sometimes. So here's the video of what my ball joint looks like from the other day when I had it up in the air and I posted video online. Check out how bad it is. And of course, now we're underneath, and this is the ball joint right here, and there's the bolt that kind of holds it in. Now I'm going to rock the wheel back and forth, and check this out. Pretty bad, huh? Not supposed to do that. Always good to check your ball joints. Pretty decent day out here, so I'm going to do as much as I can today. So let me show you my new ball joint, and there it is. I just got it today. Got two of them. Got them in the mail. Got them both for like $30 free shipping. And these are the non-greasable type. They do not have the little grease fitting on them, which is just fine with me. I'll pack a little more grease in there behind this boot before I put it on. And you get a little retaining clip, and that's about it. So let's get to it, and I'll show you how I am going to do these ball joints on this particular vehicle. Now I have a press. We're going to try to use a press on this arm to put this ball joint in. Don't know if it's going to work or not, but we'll see what we can do. May have to go get one of those tools to press it in, but we'll see what we can do with my press. So obviously the first thing we got to do is block the wheels. I'm going to put some blocks behind my rear wheels, and you probably want to do the same. Next step is to jack your vehicle up, get that wheel there up in the air, and as you can see I've got about 2 inches of wheel up in the air. And now we'll go ahead and take the wheel off. And now we have excess into the hub. The next thing we're going to be doing is taking off our brakes. As you see here, I have brand new rotors on the front of my vehicle and brakes, so I should not have a problem getting this caliper off of my rotor. Now, if you have a disc that has deep cuts in it and it's really rusty and everything, you may have a problem sliding your brakes off of the discs here. So what I like to do is take a little screwdriver and get behind the brake pads a little bit and try to push them back. Try to push that piston back in its bore a little bit, and that'll help you slide these brakes off your discs here a little bit easier, and then you should be all right. This Taurus, this is a 2000 Taurus. I have to use a little socket on this bolt right here to release this caliper, and this is a 12 millimeter, so we'll go ahead and take this one off. And there's one on the bottom that we have to take off, and these bolts aren't too long. Once you get them started, they usually come off pretty good, and so these are very small. So when you put these back in later, make sure you start these with your fingers. Do not start them with a socket, because you will cross thread this. You have to make sure they start in with your fingers, then you can put a socket on. Alright, now let's take the bottom one out. Alright, there's the bottom one. I'll try to get that out without hitting the camera. There we go. I need to get a tiny camera so I can get the camera in my wheel wells. Maybe I'll get a little GoPro or something. And that is off. Now we'll go ahead and slide our caliper off. And there we go. Alright, and that is off. For now, I'm going to set this up here. We'll use a wire later, a clothes hanger up on the top there to hold that up on the strut. And now we'll just pop our brakes off and kind of make a mental note of how they go back on and everything. And you got these little anti-rattle clips, which is kind of nice. And you can see my pads are practically, they look brand new still, so lots of pad left. Now what we have to do is go ahead and take out this support bracket here that holds the brake calipers on. On the back there are two bolts, one 15 millimeter there and one right here on the top. So we'll go ahead and take those off, and you'll have to have a little bit bigger of a socket to get these off. You have to put a little muscle into it. Get these out. How long they are. Right, that one. And this one. Next. And there it is. And there's the bracket. Check it, make sure there's no cracks or anything. Put that off to the side. And now we can simply just take off our rotor. And off comes the rotor. Brand new rotor. I got both of these online for $40 free shipping. And let me tell you what, these made a big difference in stopping. No shaking, and this thing will stop on a dime. Alright, now after I get the rotor off there, you can see at this point, really we don't have a whole lot more to do, but we have to take off this big nut here. From what I could find, it looks like this is going to be a 30mm deep well. A lot of these have deep well sockets that you have to pretty much use, and they're all millimeters. So to be fair, I am just going to use a breaker bar. We're going to try to break it loose. If you have an air impact tool, go for it. But I know most people don't. There we go. Alright, I think we got her. Yep. And I did put a little oil into the shaft there. It makes it a little bit easier. And cool, off it comes. All we gotta do is take that off. And there it is. And you can see it's a pretty big bolt. A nut, I should say. If you have a washer, get that off there, because sometimes it's easy to miss these guys. And really, all we have to do now is go ahead and break the tie rod in loose, get this ball joint broke loose, and we got a pinch bolt up there, and really that's about it. So well, we don't have too much more here to do. Now on the back of the tie rod end, we got a cotter key to take out right here, so we'll pop this out. And most of the time they're easy to get out, but a lot of times they can be a pain, so sometimes you end up breaking them. Now we'll go ahead and take our nut off on the bottom of our tie rod end. This is an 18mm, so we'll try to get this off here. There, okay. So far, so good. Alright, there that is. Put that off to the side. Okay, now what we want to do is get a big hammer and just kind of hit this a couple times, and this should break it loose. It doesn't have to be a sledgehammer, but a fairly decent hammer, and I've got a pretty big one right here. And there you go, and that worked out pretty good. You might want to wear gloves too, by the way. And while it's off, just double check it. Shouldn't be any play in it or anything, and no rattling noise, so this tie rod's end is good. And I know my steering's okay because I've not had a problem with my steering, just the rattling ball joint. Alright, now what we're going to do is take this nut off on the bottom of the ball joint, and on my car it is a 13/16, so I'm going to use a 13/16 inch deep well. And I am going to use a breaker bar on it. And hopefully I'll be able to break it loose this way, and you can watch me in real time. Alright, get a good grip on it here. See, figure out which way it goes. See, off, on, off. Actually, I'm going the wrong way. It helps if you think about this. Alright, there we go. There we go. Alright, I was tightening it. That wouldn't have been good. And there we go. Alright. And one nut off the ball joint. Okay, now at this point, I am just going to use a regular old pickle fork. This is aluminum. It's been through a lot, seen some pretty good days. And we'll see if we can hit this, and I'll just use my big hammer. Sometimes you have to hit it several times, but if you hit around here with your hammer and put your pickle fork in there, it should break loose. We'll try it one time here. Oh, okay, I think it went. And I almost got my hand. That would have been bad. Alright, so there we go. We zoom out a little bit there. You can see it came apart pretty good. This is the hardest part, because this scares a lot of people, because if you can't get this out, then you have to spend a little bit of time on it. Now I'm going to take my big pipe here. I'm just going to kind of push down on this bottom suspension piece like that, and this usually lets you pull this whole unit out like that. And just a couple more things here to do, and we're just about done with this, taking this out. And now the next thing you want to do is take your hammer and kind of tap that axle back in there like that. And that way that'll be loose. And now we have one final bolt to take off. We got to take off this pinch bolt back here, this nut, and it's a 13/16 too. I'll put my socket on there, and we'll use the breaker bar, and we'll break it loose like this. There, and I put a little oil in there just to kind of help it out there. And you can see it does help a lot. Also, like I said earlier, it's always nice to have gloves because you can cut yourself on these parts. And now I'll leave the bolt on there, the nut on there, I should say, for now, just like that. Take a hammer and hit it a couple times to loosen up that bolt a little bit. There we go. And here's our look at our pinch nut and bolt. And we'll put this off to the side. Now, this unit is ready to come off. And there it is. And double check your wheel bearing. Make sure it's okay. And this thing is light. That aluminum, it's amazing. And now, here is the ball joint, and check this baby out. Let me make sure I'm in focus here in the frame. Yeah, death trap. Pretty bad. Alright, so let's go see if we can change this out. Alright, so what we're going to do now is go ahead and take off this little clip here. I was going to take this heat shield off, but the geniuses at Ford, yeah, no pun intended, they riveted this piece on there, so, you know, they're going to grind it off or put new rivets back in it or something, but I think I can work around it for now. So we've got a clip here we've got to take off, and these here are actually some pliers that I had that were broken, and I just grounded down the end of them a little bit, and they make a nice little retaining clip remover. Stick that in there, I'll get this off. And there's that. And there's a clip. Okay, now there is a look at my press, and obviously it's not going to work because this ball joint, the way it's in there in the spindle, is angled at an angle that there's no way I'm going to be able to use it, so it looks like I'm going to have to go rent the tool. You see here, there's really no way to get this up on the press, so the problem is you got this place here where the strut drops down in, and it kind of blocks the press from getting down in here, so off to the parts store I go to rent a ball joint tool, so I'll be right back. Alright folks, I'm back, and there is my rental tool that I went at the parts store and picked up, $150, and they will give you your money back when you go back. And let me show you my setup. As you see, I got my C-clamp on there, and I got my little piece here, and if you've worked with these tools, you know how to set them up. And I'm actually using my own socket here to push down on this ball joint, because in that toolkit there's really nothing there that really works for me on this setup. And of course I've got my big socket there, so all I got to do now is go ahead and start pushing down on that and break that ball joint loose. One close-up look at it, the ball joint will get pushed down into this cup here. As I turn this rod, it pushes this socket, and it'll push that ball joint down into there, and I should be able to get it out. So I'll set the camera up here and you can watch me for a minute. Alright, I think you can kind of see that, and I got a piece of wood set up here. There we go. I'll set the camera up just a little bit better. Sorry about that. Okay, now I can go ahead and start breaking this bit loose. There we go. Heard it crack there. Actually, it went easier than I thought it would go. And if you're by yourself, you have to use a little ingenuity. Figure out what's best to get it off with. Alright, that's as far as that'll go. So let me back this out. And you can see the ball joint there. It's just about out. And sometimes you can take a hammer and hit here, but don't do it. It's not worth it. You will break it. And now I'll use this guy here. Just give me a second here to set this up again. Okay, I think you can kind of see this, but I had to get a smaller socket and extend this back here as far as it will go, so I can push this the rest of the way, and I exchanged this smaller cup that you see like this for a larger one. This is probably not the right installer ball joint kit, but this will work for what I need to do. The ball joint's just about out, so I'll go ahead and take it out. You can see it's going there. And there it is. It is out. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do to make it work. We move this out of the way, and there's a ball joint. Not much left. Now this is a smaller kit. They did not have the bigger kit, so I wasn't very lucky today, but I did make this work, and you might have to. But make sure you get the right ball joint install kit before you tackle this job. It'll make it a little bit easier. Okay, I got my new ball joint kind of sitting in there, and double check your old one, make sure they're identical. And you can see I just kind of pushed it in there, got it started straight with my hand. And now we'll go ahead and figure out our tool here and figure out what's best for this. Okay, now here's my setup to press this back on. I got the tool on the bottom of the ball joint right there, and I got this cup, and I got this cap that sits on top of that. We're simply going to just turn this rod, and we're going to push this ball joint up in this area here, and that should get us going. Let's go ahead and press this in, and you can kind of watch me there, and it's kind of hard to see, I think. Maybe if I turn it like this, you can see it a little bit better. You can watch this ball joint right there get pushed in as I try to keep my hand out of the way also. Now I've got a better angle. I zoomed in for you, so let me finish this up here. So if my hand's not in the way, hopefully you can. That's the problem I have. My hand gets in the way for you guys, and I can't. I think you can see it there. It's going slowly. I think she's just about in there. I think you can see that. Just about in. As my camera got moved again, I apologize. And it's in. Whoops. Wow. Okay. We'll pan back a little bit here. And we'll take the tools off and we'll look at it. All right. Back this off a little bit. As you can see, this is kind of how I had it set up. Like this. And there's the ball joint. It's on. Looks like it's in there pretty good. And everything here is okay. And all I have to do now is put my clip on. And I'm ready to put this guy back on. So I'm pretty happy. So let me put the clip on. Got the clip on. I didn't even use their clip. Their eye holes are too small for my tools, so I just reused mine. It's nothing wrong with it. So it's all on there. And looks like it wasn't too bad after all. So all I have to do now is go ahead and install this, and I'm not going to show you how to install it step by step. Obviously you know how to put it back together, but I'll just show you some quick tips, and we'll take it out for a ride and see how she sounds. So let's finish up. Guys, I got it on here. A tip, I always put the bottom of the ball joint on first, get the axle in, put your nut on there a little bit. I took it back off just now to do something else, but I got to put my washer back on. But put your nut on there so the axle doesn't slide back out. Then what you really got to do is kind of force this strut back down this top piece, and you got your little plate right there that slides down on the back side. Just make sure it's centered, and I don't think you're going to be able to see this because it's getting really dark, but it's, trust me, it's right there. And once you do that, you can get this strut to slide down into this hub assembly, and you're pretty much in. So now all I got to do is put my bolt in there, the pinch nut, put my nut on the bottom of the ball joint right there. There it is. Well, it is getting dark out here. And put the wheel and stuff back on. So it wasn't too bad. And I did put my bar right here, and I pushed down on the bottom of this suspension to go as far as I could to enable to be able to slide this down in here. And once you get it started, it's really hard to get it to push back and to push on this to get it to slide down. So I just took a little tire wrench and stuck it right here where the knuckle is, the hole in the knuckle is, and kind of pushed back, and it gave me a little leverage, and then this strut slid in. This is the difficult part. It's almost, I would almost take this sway bar link off, because the sway bar link makes it really stiff, and it's hard to get this angled straight, but if you want to do that, you can. It might make it a little bit easier. Alright, enough talking, so I'm going to go ahead and put everything back together, and we'll take it out, take it for a spin, and hopefully it'll be okay. And give you one more look here at the ball joint. Kind of hard for me to see now, it's getting so dark. There it is. It's all in, I'm pretty happy. So we'll see you back here in a little bit as I take it out for a spin, as the birds are yelling at me, telling me it's time to quit. Alright, and as you can see, it got dark on me, but I am finished. But my rotor's back on, and make sure you start your caliper bolts there with your hand. Do not start them with the socket. Make sure you get them started first, because you do not want to cross-thread them. And, let's see, that's about it. So everything's tight. I'm going to put the wheel on it, and we'll take it out here in a few seconds and see how she runs. Okay, folks, a little update. My car's running great. No more noise in the front end, and no more shaking. That ball joint took care of the shaking too that I had on the front right side of the vehicle. So I'm really happy. And if you can get this job done yourself, if you're going to do both ball joints, you're probably going to save yourself about $500. But mechanics charge a lot of money. So like I said, the only hard part is probably getting that spindle back on the bottom of that strut. Once you put the car back together, you may have to get someone to help you and guide that on there to get it started, like I showed you in that video earlier, getting that spindle started back on the bottom of that strut. But other than that, I'm happy. It's running pretty good. No more shaking and banging around, and I know it's a safe car. I know both ball joints on the front now have been replaced, so if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them. And this is probably not a job for the first time. Do it yourself, or if you've been working on cars for a little bit, you can do it. Save yourself about $500. So there you go. So thanks for watching, everybody, and hopefully you liked the video. If you do, give me a thumbs up and all that good stuff. So until my next project, I will see you later as I enjoy my safe ride.